No.
Don't eat it. He's gonna eat it.
Well, stop dropping it. He gets like a little update from Hux and then demands that the general build him a throne, which his
Adorable.
dynamic with...
But wait, it's just his head in a jar on a robot body.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Last Week in Star Wars. I'm Alex.
I'm Molly.
And it's kind of a lighter news week, a lighter canon week, which is kind of a relief after having 6 comics last week. We only had 1 issue this week, but it was a big one. I'm excited to talk about it. So before we get into news, we were sent something fun.
Unboxing.
So we thought we would unbox this. It is related to The Mask of Fear, the new book by Alexander Freed, coming out the end of the month.
Oh, I don't miss this. I love getting PR boxes. I don't love this stuff.
Hilo loves it. No.
Don't eat it. He's gonna eat it.
Well, stop dropping it. Let's see. We've got private and confidential information.
Ooh. That folder, when I saw a picture of that online, it looked a lot bigger. It's so much smaller than I thought it was going to be.
It says The Mask of Fear, file number 22525. That's the release date. Senator Bail Organa.
You're just reading the Arbesh?
Yeah.
Show off.
Clearance required in Arabesh. Still takes me a second to read through it all, but I guess I have clearance for this. This is from the Jedi Temple Archives. It's got notes that says it's Palpatine's so-called evidence of the Jedi treason. Oh, and it says document prepared for Senator Bail Organa. So that is related to the book. I have read the ebook of it, so I won't go into any of the details. But, you know, Bail is obviously someone who worked closely with the Jedi and would not just accept that they were traitors.
Sure.
He knows better, so he's investigating that a bit.
So we got a little signature from Alexander Freed.
Cool.
Who's the author of the book. We got a sticker. It says, "Every moment is a choice. I choose to live and I choose to act."
What is this, Hilo? What is it?
This is cool. It's like a little spy pin for like, maybe there's invisible ink on this because it's got a little black light.
Okay, let's look around. And of course we have the book itself, nice and thick, 463 pages. I know people are always curious about that.
Thick.
Yeah. It's big. It's dense thematically. Like I said, I've read it. My review is out. I think it actually came out earlier this week. If you want to hear my full non-spoiler thoughts on the book. I liked it a lot. Wouldn't call it a fun read. A very good read. Like
Juicy?
if you are, yeah, but just intense. Mm-hmm. It says that it's for fans of Andor, and that is very accurate. Like, it's light on the space fantasy, light on the pulp, heavy on very real and intense topics.
So, like real life.
Yeah.
This is cool. It just got like a little mini card poster of Saw, Mon, and Bail. But it looks like a target. Okay, we figured it out. We were
after searching through everything, trying to find a hidden message.
We were looking for a hidden message because there is a pen with invisible ink in here with a little light that shows you what's written. But then I was like, oh, the pen just writes the invisible ink. So you can make your own hidden messages.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but I drew a little smiley face. So we got invisible ink pen with decoder light.
Decoder light?
and a highlighter and a bunch of cool little tabs. So, like, we can go back through this book and just scribble all over it and save a bunch of stuff.
And no one will know. We'll leave secret messages to find in this book thousands of years from now after the apocalypse. Someone can find the pen, find the book, and read to drink more Ovaltine. But let's segue from this book into a little bit of book news that came out. The Bad Batch is returning in book form on August 5th. We kind of knew about this already, but it's now been like officially announced on StarWars.com. The Bad Batch Sanctuary is the title of the book. It's set during the events of Season 2 of The Bad Batch, centers on Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, and Omega as they work with treasure hunter Phee Genoa on a plan to help rebuild their island refuge after the devastating tsunami seen in the episode Pabu. What do you think of this?
Yeah, this, like you said, we kind of knew a Bad Batch book was coming because a while ago there was like a website for an untitled Bad Batch book or something. It's interesting that it's set during season 2, because I was kind of like, well, we're just backtracking at this point. But I'm not going to be upset about getting more tech stuff, especially if it's like tech and Fee. We might get to see them have some intimate conversations.
Or at least Fee trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, okay, well, more tech time is good. I'm kind of with you that I was hoping... we all figured it would take place on Pabu with the title Sanctuary. It does seem kind of like the Thrawn books, Alliances and Treason. They sort of fill in gaps in between seasons of Star Wars Rebels. And those didn't appeal to me as much as like just Thrawn or the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy that takes place out in the unknown regions. That felt like we were learning a little bit more, and this kind of feels like we're putting this story in a bit of a box. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I was kind of hoping we would see a little bit beyond what happened at the end of season 3. I guess there's a chance that this could be a story that kind of takes place in 2 time zones. Like it could be Omega thinking back to this time, or there could be an epilogue that fills us into like how Pabu's doing after everything that went down. Like there are some lingering questions that I can kind of rationalize of, why did the Empire never come back to Pabu?
Right.
If they found it.
Because they got their butts whooped.
Right. Well, I do have like some headcanon surrounding that maybe just Hemlock knew, and this was all a mission around Omega, and he wouldn't want all of this stuff to get out. Mm-hmm. So the Empire at large might not know about Pabu, but maybe there's a chance that they could give us an official answer about all that.
Yeah, we might hear some just general history about Pabu.
Sure. It's a planet that I like a lot, so I am looking forward to learning more about it.
Yeah, I am too. And like anytime we get a book, like a novel with characters that we have only really seen like on television and in animation, it's exciting because we get to see a little bit more of their inner monologue at times. And yeah, it would be really cool if we got something from where we left off in season 3.
I'll also be interested to see if they work Crosshair into this at all. I'm doubting that he'll play into the story because he was barely in season 2, but his season 2 episodes are some of my favorite of the whole series. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think that they're going to spend time on him like wondering where his brothers are while they're off helping fix Pabu.
Yeah, I might rewatch some of the key episodes of season 2 before reading this, just to like get my mindset back into the right place.
That could be fun to rewatch that Pabu episode with the tsunami and everything, and just like lead into that, and then you can read the book and then pick up when I guess Echo shows up to... What's he doing?
We never know what he's doing.
And then cut back to when Uncle Echo shows up, and it does seem like they've been there for a little bit. Going from Bad Batch to another animated series, we also got word that Young Jedi Adventures is coming back for a second batch of Season 2 episodes.
Yay!
Which I genuinely do enjoy that show. It's fun that it comes out in like a big chunk and you can just kind of binge through it. I like Nubs. I like that we're going to get to see an adult Puba.
Yeah, he looks dope too. Like he's huge.
Yeah, he's even bigger than I thought.
He does have a name that they said somewhere, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
This is set to be the last batch of episodes for season 2, which we don't know if it's going to continue on and get a third season or what. I'll be curious to see how much more they do with the Tabor Kai Brightstar relationship. That's my favorite part of the show.
It is a fun little twist, yeah. Like,
it's this very kind of young version of the Darth Vader reveal that at some point Tabor is going to have to tell Kai that, like, I'm your friend.
Yeah.
But you don't know that, like, we're enemies on this one part of our life, but when my mask is off, we're great friends. And so, like, watching Tabor struggle with that, I've really enjoyed that aspect of the show.
Yeah, it's just a really fun show to watch as an adult because it's got some really cute creature designs. The Tabor twist is a lot of fun. So if you ever get bored and want to watch it, like, it is very much a kid's show, but like we still watch it
Yeah,
because there's a lot of fun little connections in there.
It's not something that I run around telling adults like, you've got to watch. We have friends who are like always trying to convince us to watch Bluey.
Yeah.
Which
apparently
it's amazing.
It's a gold mine.
Right. So I'm not running around telling everyone like, you have to watch Young Jedi Adventures as a 38-year-old. But like, if you just love Star Wars, I mean, we watch it to keep up with the channel and the canon and everything, but like it's never felt like a chore. It's always like, oh, let's hang out with Nubs for a little bit.
Yeah. Lots of really cute creatures. Liz is the character that she like loves creatures and animals, so she's always got a lot of fun stuff to do.
The last little bit of news I had written down is that Oscar Isaac has been announced for Star Wars Celebration Japan. So I thought I would ask you if you think there's anything to that more than just it's the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens this year, so he might be going to celebrate that. Or should we get our hopes up and assume that they're going to announce like the Poe Dameron movie or something?
Oh, jeez. Should he get his own movie?
If they were going to do Rogue Squadron and if it were going to be a post-sequel trilogy story.
Maybe. So, yeah, when I first saw this news, of course, my mind went straight to, ooh, this must mean he's going to be in the Rey movie. And I totally forgot that there's going to be a lot of celebration around the 10th anniversary of Force Awakens. So that is probably why he's going to be there.
Yeah. I never really look into those guest announcements too much. Honestly, the fact that he is announced as going, to me, suggests that it's for the 10th anniversary. Like, obvious, like, hopefully we see that John Boyega is going to be there too, and Daisy Ridley. Now, it would be fun if they went and talked about the new Jedi Order movie and they were like, by the way, let's bring out another star.
The
and
same
John
way
Boyega comes out.
Yeah, the same way they did it with Daisy. Like if they had her come out and then had the rest of them come out.
Yeah, like that could be fun, but I'm not expecting it. Like if they were going to announce the Sean Levy movie, like let's say the Ryan Gosling stuff, all of that is true.
Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling is going to be at Celebration. They're not going to announce that Ryan Gosling will be at Celebration and you can get your photo and autograph and all that. Like they want to save that.
I don't think he does that.
He might. I don't know. He might now.
He might. Yeah, if you're in Star Wars, you might have to do meet and greets. Moving
on to last week in canon, there was just one new comic issue. You read it, so that's exciting. We can fully discuss it.
I read it a while ago.
It's Legacy of Vader, issue 1. We are going to summarize it, talk spoilers, so if you don't want to hear any of that, if you haven't read it yet, just skip to the next segment and you can miss all that. But basically, Kylo Ren thinks he has everything he ever wanted, but he still feels empty. Surprise, surprise.
Wow.
Murdering your father didn't solve all your problems. So we're like right after The Last Jedi, and he goes onto his Star Destroyer, and he flaunts Snoke's corpse in front of like a bunch of stormtroopers.
The two pieces.
Yeah. Blaming Rey for it and the Resistance, but also basically just being like, I'm in charge now. And throws Snoke's body out the window.
I can't remember. Was his tongue still out?
He shoved it back inside before he did all that. He gets like a little update from Hux and then demands that the general build him a throne, which his
Adorable.
dynamic with Hux is very interesting because at first he seems kind of like, you're a trusted advisor here. And Hux is like, oh, I am? And then very quickly Kylo Ren is like, never mind, I hate you. Build me a chair.
Build me a throne to sit on. Do we ever see him in a throne or chair?
Not that I can recall.
Special chair?
Yeah, we'll see if he gets a special chair at some point in this comic. And then what happens to it? Yeah, why isn't it in The Rise of Skywalker? Maybe this is coming from like concept art or something. I can't recall.
Or maybe he never builds it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not doing that.
Hux builds him a really, really crappy chair.
A little high chair.
It's very a little baby chair for him. Here's what I think of you.
Here's your high chair and your bib for your temper tantrums.
After that, Kylo decides he basically hasn't killed the past hard enough. And he's like, I'm going to keep doing that.
I'm really going to go hard on this.
Which I do like. That's very dark side of just, we lost our Death Star. Let's build another one and make it bigger. That one blew up too. Well, we're going to make another one that blows up whole systems. Oh, that's gone. Well, now we have
every Star Destroyer gets a planet killer.
You get a planet killer and you get a planet killer. Yeah. It's just the same idea, but more forceful. So he goes to Mustafar, and he goes to Vader's castle, which is awesome. And he has to fight some of the Elasmic of Winsit, I think they're called. Mm-hmm. Those like Vader.
What did you say yesterday? I don't remember trivia.
Well, I studied for this. I just read this. Like, cut me some slack.
Fair.
So he fights through them. They're those like Vader cultists from the beginning of episode 9. And I guess he's just gonna like, I don't know how he's planning on destroying the castle, but he's gonna, until he meets a surprise visitor. You were very excited about this.
Well, I don't remember when I found out his name, but I've kind of been obsessed with this character because like he knew Vader probably the closest of anyone in like while he was Vader. So I just think that's really cool and interesting. But yeah, Vinay made a surprise comeback as kind of like a Bomar Monk-esque Vinay. It's just his head in a little globe submerged in water, and he's got like a robot body. It's really creepy and wild.
Yeah, kind of like Bomar Monk, kind of like that thing from The Mandalorian that like ties Mando up and takes his blood down in the city depths of Mandalore. But yeah, Vinay's like, oh, what's up? Like, I know who you are.
What's he been doing this whole time?
He's just been hanging out, and he's like stoked to see Vader's grandson.
I hope he has a television or something in there.
I get maybe he's just walking around keeping the place clean. He's excited to see Vader's grandson and does not seem bothered at all when he's like, I'm going to kill you. He's like, okay, sweet. But first, let me talk to you.
Adorable. First of all, see the resemblance. Love it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you're just like him. So he's probably really happy to have a friend to talk to.
Yeah.
But he basically says, don't kill your past. Like, embrace it. Take your pain. Use it to fuel your rage.
Because he says that's what Vader did.
Yeah. So this is like kind of the setup for the story of let's explore Vader's legacy. Let's go through some of his life experiences and let Kylo learn from them. Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting. I think it's a great setup.
Yeah, super fun idea to have Vinay be the one to like take him around to different places, and because like I said, he knew Vader probably better than anyone and has all these cool stories to tell.
Right. So it'll be funny to watch him like walking around on Tatooine with that weird body. Maybe he can like take the little headpiece off and just carry him around. That might be easier.
Put him in a little backpack like those cat backpacks with the clear globes in them.
But this reminded me of reading Charles Soule's Darth Vader comic from 2017. Just every issue had some big like whoa moment. And this one had too. I mean, the Snoke thing, I remember reading it and I just went, oh my God, when Kylo like pulls out Snoke's severed body.
Yeah, because I remember asking you what was that reaction
You were like,
about?
what's wrong? And I was like, oh, just Kylo being crazy. But then the thing with Vinay also just reminded me of those comics where they always had a really good hook at the end of the issue to keep you going. So this is a strong start for me. I'm excited and hopeful to see kind of how it continues on and maybe mirrors the Vader comic. I don't know if it will, but just I like that it's giving me similar vibes.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see kind of like Kylo Ren's reactions to going to all these places and hearing these stories about Vader. We know he's not going to learn the right lessons from them probably, but still it'll be fun to see just like how he uses this information. And
I'll be curious to see how he gets to the point of, you know, The Rise of Skywalker where he doesn't seem, I don't know, as into Vader. Like there's that one scene where he
fanboy era is over.
Yeah, like it's unclear. It's more vague where his head's at in The Rise of Skywalker. There's that one scene where he kind of like goes and feels the helmet through the Force, and then it sort of like connects with Rey. All that stuff. I don't really know what that was about. So this is a chance to maybe clear some things up.
Yeah, it's interesting. It feels kind of like when you find out too much information about your heroes, then are they still your heroes? Like, I wonder if some of the stuff he finds out about Vader kind of like ruins this image of him that he has in his head.
I could see that. So excited for more. I also wanted to talk about Vinay a little bit extra because there is something that I kind of try to do every time the Lego specials come out. I try to go like, okay, what from this is canon? And the Terrifying Tales one had Vinay in it, but he just looked like a normal dude, voiced by Tony Hale. And so now I'm like, well, I guess that's not, it never was canon, but now, like, that definitely isn't. Because unless he gets better at the end of this comic, he's going to get a regular body back.
When did Terrifying Tales take place?
It takes place after the sequel trilogy.
Oh.
Yeah, Poe visits Vader's castle, and Graballa the Hutt is trying to turn it into, like, a tourist trap.
Maybe, okay, here's the thought. Maybe the reason Vinay is a head in a jar with a robot body is because he's been working on his clone, and the clone is not ready yet.
Could be.
Still under construction.
He's going to crack the secret that Palpatine never could.
Yeah. I figured it out. I've got all this time on my hands.
He figures it out right after Palpatine dies. He's like, I can help. Oh, no.
I did it.
Oh, shoot.
I don't have a whole lot for the fandom section this week, but I can show off a meme that I made for this comic. So here it is.
Wow. I know what it is. I can imagine it.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's, again, we were just so tickled by Vinay's return.
You've been especially tickled by it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I had to tell our friend Zach about it at a party that we were at a couple of weeks ago because he's a big Star Wars nerd too. And so I was like, you'll never guess who came back in the Vader comic. And I made him try to guess. And eventually he did get it. I was like, who has been fairly close to Vader? And then I was like, he was in Rogue One. And then he finally guessed it. And then I was like, but wait, it's just his head in a jar on a robot body.
Vinay's got a fun story. I do like it. Like, most of it's told in the comics. But he used to be an Imperial officer that went insane when he got to Mustafar. So he is like completely bonkers. And I like that for him.
Yeah.
Moving into last week in questions, we've got a couple from our Patreon. I also wanted to give a quick Patreon update. First, we wanted to send a shout out and a thank you to iHodga, who joined our Jedi Council, which is very generous, so thank you. And we also just released our first episode of Beyond the Stars, where we talk about non-Star Wars things. This one is all about Silo. It's the first 2 seasons, because we just got into this show like last year sometime. And season 2 just wrapped up. So we haven't read the books or anything, so we're just like going crazy, talking about theories and stuff and what's going on, because we don't know.
Yeah, we recorded this shortly after the finale for season 2. And that show has so many like fun twists and turns, especially through season 1, but then season 2 had a big build up to a crazy finale. And then, yeah, we speculate wildly about what's coming in season 3. So if you're into that show, or if you feel like getting into it and then listening to this, it was a lot of fun to record.
So that's available right now, but getting into our first question, keeping it with Kylo Ren, Caleb Diaz asks why Kylo Ren hates his connection to the Skywalkers, Organas, and Solos, but he idolizes his connection to Vader.
This we could go deep with this. Like,
I thought it was kind of a deep question.
Therapy with Kylo.
Right. What he needed.
Yeah. Well,
so,
he's picking and choosing, right? He's cherry picking who he idolizes according to what his goals are.
So I think that he idolizes Vader because it's easier. I think that he had all of these names on top of him just like as a burden, where he's got Skywalker blood and he's the son of Leia Organa and Han Solo, and all these heroes are related to him, and that's so much to live up to. And isn't it just easier to make the bad decision and to not have to worry about that?
Yeah, but Vader is a lot to live up to also.
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate bad guy.
Which I think that might be part of his struggle, is that, yeah, he wants to be bad, but really he is good. Like, he's forcing himself to be evil because he can't live up to his parents and his uncle, but he also can't live up over here So he's just like in a can't win situation in his mind.
Yeah. And I wonder how much of it has to do with his parents, splitting up.
Well, they didn't split up until after he went dark side.
But still, like, he knew about that, right? That they split up?
I guess.
I just mean, like, that takes a toll on you. I don't care who you are.
So even, like, he's already very evil, and then he figured out his parents were separated, and he probably went and do his little dark side break room.
Yeah.
He needs one of those on a Star Destroyer.
It's interesting with Star Wars characters because I'm thinking of him as just like a normal dude, like what's going on in a normal person's head. Like, but we don't know if he ever wanted a relationship with anyone, if that was ever a goal of his.
In like comics and stuff, I would say that he wished he had a stronger relationship with his parents. I think there was some resentment that he kind of got sent off to study with Luke.
Mm.
But from again, Charles Soule, his Rise of Kylo Ren comic, I think that most of his issues come from there's just too much to live up to.
Yeah.
And he hates all of those names. He's also named after Ben Kenobi. Like, just everyone thinks that, all right, you're the future,
Mm-hmm.
and hope you do well.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, like, the dark side is just the quick and easy path. And if you're like, well, I'm never going to live up to these people, but maybe I can live up to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very simplified version of what's going on, but that's kind of what I think.
Mm.
Estelle Getty Jr. asks if Skeleton Crew will help Disney loosen up and experiment with more lighthearted genres. So I had brought up not too long ago, I think we were talking about Star Wars detours and how Disney, I don't think, is ever going to let that see the light of day because it was probably just too silly and not what they wanted for the brand.
Mm.
Whereas I'm like, I don't think it was going to be as good as Robot Chicken, which I really like.
Right.
I think it was going to be a more simplified version, a toned down version of that sense of humor.
Yeah.
But I would have been willing to give it a shot.
I think there's a good chance that this could help a little bit. But we know Skeleton Crew didn't get a ton of views. Like, it didn't perform, like insanely well or anything. So I think in Disney's eyes, they're not going to consider it a total failure. But I don't know that they're going to look at it and say, how do we replicate this and how it made people feel and do it again if it didn't do insane numbers?
I think we're still waiting on like the later episodes. Christopher Ford and John Watts mentioned that viewership did go up week to week. So I think that's a good sign. We don't know how much it went up. But yeah, I think that unless it just did incredibly well, I don't think Disney is going to be immediately like, oh, now we have to go like even sillier. To me, Skeleton Crew was very lighthearted and it had a great sense of humor, but it didn't feel like it was all that experimental for Star Wars.
No.
Like, it still felt very much within the realm of what I expect, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I do hope that it inspires them to do more storytelling for just like regular people in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
We did hear a lot about Jedi and the Force because that was kind of a part of the story, but we didn't have any actual Jedi and like very little Force related stuff. And like none of the kids had any like big reveals of them being Force sensitive. And I think a lot of people enjoyed that. So maybe that'll help them think of more stories going forward that are like that. Not that the kid characters have to have all this pressure to, become the ultimate Jedi one day.
Right. Yeah, I hope that they look at the response from the people that did watch the show and whether or not the viewership was good or bad, we don't fully know yet, but I don't want them to look at it and be like, oh, well, we can't make a show unless Luke Skywalker has a cameo in it. Like, I hope they don't take that lesson away from it.
I also hope that they use more like stop motion.
Yeah.
They've always done that, right? But I think when stuff like that happens, people get really excited. And I just hope that that continues to be a part of all of their projects moving forward.
Just like, in general, yeah.
Stop motion, puppetry especially.
All of the tools that they pulled out of the toolbox, I loved seeing that in Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. So that particularly, I do hope inspires them to continue with that moving forward.
And that brings us to the end of Last Week in Star Wars. Again, it was a lighter news week, a lighter canon week. Next week, we do have 2 comic issues, The High Republic Adventures 15 and the Bad Batch comic begins, Ghost Agents #1.
Ooh, yeah.
So we are going to be diving back into the Bad Batch, and then that might be coming out all the way up until about August when the book releases. Nice. So that's nice.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some more news next week.
If we do, we'll cover it here. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.